Hello home bosses. I hope you enjoyed my last video, and thank you so much for everyone who bought the list of niches from my Gumroad shop. I really am overwhelmed with the response I had. I didn't expect so many people to download the list, and as a thank you I just want to make a few videos now to show you how to use that list. If you haven't bought the list, don't worry, you can still join in, and there are lots of tips to show you how to make books for Q4. And what I'll do is I'll go through a few of the niches on the list, and I'll show you how to make an interior. And what I'll also do is I'll probably put the interior on the Gumroad shop, and you can download it for free just as a thank you to everybody who bought the list, so that you can make lots and lots of books for Q4. But the one thing that I wanted to show you is really how not to do this, because I know now we've got a list with lots of niches, and that's great. We can now prepare to make a lot of books in those niches. I also want to let you know how you shouldn't make books. Some of you have a strategy of making quantity before quality, some of us make quality before quantity, and some of us use both and have a combination. And if it works for you, then any of those strategies is good. It's when it doesn't work, then you have to maybe change your strategy. And I just want to give you a few ideas on how to do it, and especially how not to do it. So watch the rest of the video, and at the end of the video I will let you know what other videos I'm going to be making, so that you can make the most of this list, so that we can prepare really well for Q4. We want to have a really good Q4 this year. So everybody keeps asking me what are good niches to publish books in, and everybody is saying, well, they are all saturated, there's too much competition, there's too many people on Amazon. The other question I get is, are notebooks worth making because there's so many notebooks already? So here's a few answers to that. First of all, I always say to people, don't be afraid of competition, because competition means that there is a lot of demand. It means that people are interested in that niche. There's a difference between competition and having a niche where there's low demand and a lot of books. So you have to make a distinction between niches that have high competition and low demand, or niches that are high competition with high demand. So if there's low demand, then it's no good going into that niche, because nobody wants to buy it. So if you think of something that people are not interested in, or not very interested in, and you only have a few searches a month, then it's not worth it. But if you have a niche that has very high competition, but the search volume is very high too, it's still worth putting out a book into that niche, because as long as your book stands out, and as long as your book is better than the other books, you can still make sales. And I think this is where people go wrong. I think people make books that are very quick to make, and they're not, because they're quick to make, they're not that good quality. I'll show you some examples on that. This is an example of what you shouldn't be doing. And I'm sorry if this is one of your books, Mary Art Publisher, because I'm using your books as an example to show people what they shouldn't be doing, and I'll tell you why. And I've done it as well. When I first started, I followed the advice of many people that were saying, just produce lots of notebooks and change the covers a little bit and you can get sales. And yes, you can get a few sales, but not many. And it's not good practice, because for example, this one, it's I'm Liam, and that's my music notebook. So this is a music notebook. I imagine, I can't look inside at the moment, but look what they've done. They have put out loads and loads and loads of notebooks, all the same, and all they've changed is the name. So this is I'm Sarah and I'm the best in my music. I'm Charlotte and I'm the best in my music. I'm James and I'm the best in science. I'm Sarah and I'm the best in science. So, and also you can see they're not ranked. They were put out not long ago, 22nd of August, but they haven't had any sales because the only person who would buy this book is a person that's called Sarah, and they have to be good in science. So there's not many people. You're not really putting this book out for a big audience. You're niching down too much. You know, there's not many people called Sarah who are good in science. I'm sure there are many people, but are they all going to buy this book? I'm not sure. And also that there's nothing attractive about this book. I'm sorry to say that, but it's a black background, which is becoming a little bit old-fashioned now. And it's just text, no images, nothing. So it's very easy to produce these kind of notebooks, very quick to produce because all you have to do is change the cover a little bit, and then you can put hundreds of these notebooks. If I'm going to page 3, it's still going on, and you just change the name. Oh, now they've changed it. It's now I'm Olivia. I'm not short. My height is just cute. So you're really only buying this book if you're called Olivia and you're short, or this one is really too broad. What greater gift than the love of a cat? So this is appealing to cat lovers, and that is a niche with high competition and high demand. But you know, there's nothing special about this book. So if you're going to go into a niche with high competition, high demand, you need to make your book better than all the other books. And this isn't it. This isn't better than... It's a nice book. I'm not saying it's not nice, but it's not better. If you have all the books in this niche side by side, this is going to get lost. And again, this is Sarah, and she's the best in engineering. So how many Sarahs in engineering? I'm not sure. Not many, not millions. And you really want to appeal to as many people as possible. So Noah, and that's my philosophy. So I'm not sure what they mean by that, because this is appealing to people called Noah, and that's my philosophy. What is your philosophy? I'm not quite sure what this cover is supposed to mean. I'm Daniel, and that's my music. What music? You know, so maybe this is a music notebook, but it says notebook, so it's not a music notebook. This is another thing that I want to talk to you about, and that is the difference between notebooks, journals, logbooks, planners, because I think that a lot of people don't know what the difference are between all of those books. So let me explain a little bit what the differences are. A notebook and a journal are very, very similar. They are both books with lines, but they are used in different ways. So you can make a notebook and call it a notebook, and you can make the same interior and call it a journal, because they're both lined books, but they're used in different ways. So you have to think about when you make the title for your book, and you think, what shall I call this? Shall I call this a notebook, or shall I call this a journal? You have to think about, what is this book for? How can the person buying this book use the book? So if it's a notebook where people just write whatever they want, you can call it a notebook. So what is journaling? Journaling is really writing down your thoughts, your experiences and observations. So it's like keeping a diary. You can write in it every day, or you can write in it when you feel that something important has happened and you want to make a note of it and keep a record of it. And it's really something more personal, whereas a notebook, you can write shopping lists in a notebook, or you can write anything. It's not really the same as journaling, but you can use it as a journal. So really the only difference between a notebook and a journal is how people use it, but the interior looks the same, more or less. You can have prompted journals, which means they have a little line of text telling the person what to write about, or giving the writer an idea of what to write. So it's slightly different. And a notebook is just really, you can write anything. So if you're making a lined interior, you can call it a notebook. You can also call it a journal if you're targeting people who want to journal. So your keywords will be different, because I see that people write notebook, journal, planner, all of those terms in the keywords. And a book can be all of those things, but you have to target it a little bit more. There's no point in putting keywords like logbook when really it's a planner, or when it's a notebook or a journal. So I see people making a lot of mistakes with their keywords in that. You have to know what your book is. So for example, we said that a notebook is lined paper, and a journal can also be lined paper, but people use it in a different way. A logbook, for example, is something completely different. A logbook is a book where you log things like what you're eating, or what you are making, or what you have spent, or what you are saving. So it's like a list of things that you have achieved, or a list of things basically. So you can have logbooks where you write down the time that you've taken your medication, how much you've taken. The interior of a logbook should be tailored to what you want the person to write in it. So don't make interiors, or this is my advice anyway, don't make a lined notebook and call it a logbook, because people are going to expect a little bit more of a logbook. I'll show you some examples. So here is an example of a logbook, and this is just to show you what people expect to find in a logbook. First of all, the cover of the book is okay. It's got diabetic, food and exercise logbook. So there's nothing wrong with that, and it tells the people what this book is about. And then it's got a page where you've got some details about the person whose book this is, who this book belongs to. And this is what a logbook looks like inside. So you have date, weight, daily goal, and then you've got sections for calories, carbs, sugar, fiber, protein and fat. In grams, it tells you what this is measured in. So you can see this is really structured, and all the pages really give the person exactly instructions on how to log their calories, their carbs and their sugar and all of that. So it's not a lined notebook. People expect to see more in the interior than just lines. I'll show you another example. Here is another example for a vehicle mileage logbook. Nice cover. So let's have a look inside. And again, you can see it's not just a lined notebook. It has a grid so you can input your data. And if we look at all the pages, they've all got the grid so that people know what to put in. So people know how to fill out this mileage logbook. So you can see that mileage logbooks are a little bit more than just lined notebooks. So I've seen some people calling notebooks logbooks, and that's what I just wanted to let you know. It's not a logbook. The keywords are important because you have to target the right people, the right buyers. So, you know, the other thing is, if you're calling something a planner, make sure that it's actually a planner, not a lined notebook. A lined notebook can be a planner. You can use it as a planner. You can plan things on a lined notebook, but people really expect a little bit more. So a planner would have a calendar in it, like dates. And again, it's a different interior. So just make sure that when you're making a notebook or a logbook or a planner, that it's actually the right interior. Don't put those keywords in if it's not for that purpose. But, a notebook can be used as a planner, so that's fine. But just make sure that you really let people know that primarily this is a lined notebook, and the interior has to be clear to people before they buy it. So this is an example of what not to do. So if you haven't watched my last video, have a quick look and find all the book ideas that I mentioned in that video, and you can make a list of those and really prepare for Q4 and make some really good books with the proper interiors, with nice covers. Don't do this kind of thing, because yes, you might make 100 books and sell 1 or 2, but that's not really what we want to do. We want to make books that sell every month and that you sell quite a few copies, so that your earnings can go up. And for that you need to put in a little bit more work. This isn't what will make you a regular income. And I know that because I have done this myself. When I first started, I made similar books like this because I was looking at what other people were doing. I saw that a lot of them had a black background and they just changed one word on the cover. So I did the same because I thought, okay, this is what people are doing. Maybe this is how you make some money on KDP. The more books you have, the better. But that is not what's working. The main thing that I can tell you, the main advice that I can give you for KDP is when something doesn't work for you, change it. Don't continue making the same book. Change your books, change your interiors, change your covers, so that the more you do this, the more you will come closer to what works for you. And you will find what works for you. We all find it in the end. It's just that sometimes it takes a little bit of time, and sometimes we're desperate to earn some money. And I can understand that because I was exactly the same. I really had to make some money to pay my rent, to help my family. And it's a lot of pressure when you're not earning. And I didn't earn for quite a few months, so I know exactly what this is like. The other thing I wanted to tell you is when you're making notebooks, because I know a lot of people are saying, is it worth making notebooks? And the answer to that is yes, but it's a special type of notebook. Because think about this. Who buys notebooks? It's usually people who are, students or school children, or mums that buy it for their children for school, or people who want to write down things. Where do you normally buy a notebook? When I was buying notebooks for my children or even for myself, here in the UK we have shops called Poundland where everything they sell costs £1. And I'm sure you have a similar thing in your country. Or you go to Walmart, or you go to places where notebooks are cheap. So I can buy 5 notebooks in a pack for £1 in Poundland. So there's no way that I'm going on Amazon and buying a notebook for £6.99, because I can get so many more notebooks for £1 than, I wouldn't go on Amazon and pay £6.99 for a notebook. So why do people buy notebooks on Amazon? Well, this is the reason. People buy notebooks on Amazon because they are given as gifts, and the cover has to be something that appeals to somebody as a gift idea. Here in the UK we buy cards for every occasion. We buy cards for birthdays, cards for Christmas, cards for people who pass their driving test. We buy cards for people who move into a new home. Every occasion or everything has a card. So for me, because I'm not from the UK, when I first came here, I found it really strange. I thought, why do people buy so many cards for people to, when they get a new job, they get a card congratulating them. It's a really nice idea, and people appreciate receiving those cards. And I think that these type of notebooks, they're very similar to people giving cards. But it's actually better than a card because you have an actual notebook that you can use. And then you can see the front of the cover of the book and enjoy it for much longer than you can a card. A card, you read it and then people throw it away or they keep it in a drawer, and sometimes they take them out to remember. But really, a notebook is so much better than that. So people buy notebooks because they give them as gifts. Some people buy notebooks for themselves because they just really like the cover. So you really have to come up with something better than this. And I don't want this to sound dismissive, because if somebody loves this, they will buy it, so there is a chance that this will sell. But I'm just giving you this as an example of something that has a low chance of selling in a very saturated market. So when people say Amazon is saturated, it's not saturated. It's competitive, but you have to find something that is worth making. So if you make a good cover and you make a good interior, that is what's going to sell your book. And it doesn't matter if the niche has a lot of competition, if it's in a niche that has a lot of demand. So if a lot of people want this kind of book, it doesn't matter if there's a lot of competition. You make a good book with a good interior and a good cover, and you have a good chance of selling it. But this is not how you do it. You don't put 100 books with the same or similar cover and just change one word. It's, you can do it, but then you have to make a better cover, and you have to have tailored interiors. So just lined notebooks, try it. If it works for you, then I take this back, and I think, good on you for making this work. But I don't think this is the best way forward. So when people say, it's too saturated, I made 10 books and none of them are selling, have a look at your books, change your covers, change your interior, because if you're making something like this, then that is your answer why your books are not selling. You have to put more work into your covers and into your design than this. This is a little bit, I don't want to say it because it sounds negative, but this is a bit lazy. You need to put in more work than this. You can't just make 20 covers and have the same cover on all of them and just change one word. So anyway, I hope this has helped with, with giving you a little bit of focus on what to create if you think that Amazon is saturated. It really isn't. And I show you why I don't think it is, and why it is working for me. So, and why we really need to prepare for Q4, because this Q4 is going to be, I think, a good one. Get ready, people, because this is going to be a really good opportunity for us to make up for the last few months that haven't been that good. Q4 will really fix that for us. So prepare for it by making good quality, good interiors, good covers, good quality books. And ideas for books. I know everybody keeps asking me, what are the best niches? Can we please have niches? Every niche is good if you make a good book. So there is no point in looking for that magical niche that, I think people are going about it the wrong way. I think people are looking for niches with low competition, high demand, and I don't know, I'm sure there are some still, but it's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for niches that I feel I can make a good book in, and it works for me. So there has to be another way than just finding that niche that has high demand and low competition, because there can't be that many left. So we better look at it in a different way. So try and find niches that have low competition, high demand, but if there is high competition, don't worry about it. As long as there's high demand, you look at the books that are doing well in that competition and you get inspired by them and you make similar books, or you make better books. Make them better than all the other ones, and you can do that because I will help you, and I'll show you how on this channel. So in my next videos, I'm going to show you how to use the list to produce some really good quality books. So I'll be showing you how to make some interiors And I'll also show you how you can change those interiors so that we don't all end up with the same interiors on KDP. And I'll show you how to do that on Canva, but you can also do that on PowerPoint, and I will be talking about that as well. And other than that, I also want to ask you if there's anything I can help you with. For any of you that have downloaded the list and you're a little bit lost and you think, well, what do I do now? How do I start? Let me know what kind of videos you would like to see. If there's anything I can do to help you get started, or you've got any questions, let me know, and I'll always try to make videos that are going to help you in your KDP business. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and again, I just want to thank you all so much for downloading my list. So let's do this together, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.